Hey, it's Jorge from Oh So Fast Reviews. Today I'll be reviewing The 100, Season 5, Episode 10, The Warrior's Will. This episode was phenomenal. Real quickly, I'm going to go through and just do a quick synopsis of everything that I thought about this episode, and then I'll give you my thoughts about next episode. So, throughout this entire episode, I was blown away by how many kind of versus battles there were, internal and also external. So we start the episode off very quickly with Maddie and Clark, kind of that whole fighting happening. You kind of move very quickly into Abby first McCreary, and then you kind of have Abby's internal battle with her and her drugs. Her kind of being hooked on those painkillers that she's in. And then you kind of cut through, which I thought was very interesting, where you kind of have Octavia mentally battling, herself with the Blood Reina. I thought that was awesome. I found it really weird how Octavia kind of went to everybody to kind of get their advice on what to do. Definitely not something, that the Red Queen is known for. So I thought that was very interesting. I did like the scene with Indra and Octavia. And then, kind of Octavia just choosing for them to battle in the arena, with Gia, Indra, and Bellamy. I thought that was a neat thing, how she was willing to kind of risk it all. It was kind of interesting, though, how she kind of went to Indra to see if she can stop it, and then also went to Bellamy to kind of help him. So you kind of see her more human side there. Then you kind of switch back to the camp. And you kind of see, Abby using Vincent, kind of asking her to get him her drugs and all that stuff. That ends up happening, later on in the episode, which I thought was a crazy scene. I did find it extremely cool kind of seeing how Maddie was going through or kind of transforming into this commander. How she's kind of feeling everything that all the previous commanders have felt. I thought that's a real interesting kind of take to this whole thing. The one scene that I will say kind of threw me off a little bit was when Octavia ended up cutting her arm and kind of doing like the whole blood face. Definitely a really interesting scene. Not really sure I can figure it, kind of as some people use cutting as a way of taking power or having control over a situation that they don't have control over. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. From there, you kind of move back to the whole Abby scene. Vincent ends up coming through, gives Abby the drugs. The two guys that were on guard were there. And then we finally get to see Vincent going, I mean, Hannibal Lecter, basically. It was wild just seeing him just eating those people up. I don't know how else to put it. That I was not expecting that at all. I did find the whole arena scene, because you kind of jump right back into that, extremely interesting and really cool done. You can kind of tell, and maybe it was just the way I was viewing it, when they were kind of doing a screen of the people that were actually at the arena, it was almost as if they were tired of seeing people die in there. But then obviously, Monty came to the rescue during that whole fight, showing people how he can get stuff to blossom in his little algae farm. I thought that was a neat little twist of how everything kind of stopped. I'm guessing that in the past that wasn't the case, and Monty in the end of the days would have died, but because he's part of the original crew, I thought that was really interesting. Octavia kind of disappears when everyone's just kind of excited that they don't have to go to war, and then next thing you know, she's freaking burning down the farm, which I thought was such a power move. And I think it was Indra who said it, or I forgot who it was, where she basically took away the option to not have a war. And I think that's where the struggle really starts kicking in between Octavia and, Blood Reina herself, kind of who's more in control. It was almost like she was having a split personality this entire episode. I did find it interesting how near the end of the episode, you do see Clark and Maddie kind of seeing McCreary kind of executing all those defectors. And then in a split second, Maddie just, cuts that dude's throat. I thought that was just so slick, kind of showing her commander side, how she's starting to kind of pick all these moves up and everything. They end up finding Abby, and Abby looked like she was either OD'd or something, or she wasn't responsive. So definitely interesting to see what happens in the next episode. I doubt they kill Abby that easily, but we'll see. And then at the end of it, you kind of see, the crew getting back together and going to war. And by the crew, I'm not talking about one crew. I mean, like the original 100. You see Monty, you see Bellamy, just kind of everyone going. And it's really interesting how with Gia, you kind of see people are following her because she's there to save the true commander. I thought that was a neat little way. So it's almost like these people are going to war, but you're going to have multiple wars within that camp. So definitely excited to see how all this plays out. Next episode, I am so can't wait, just because they're going to be talking about what happened those 6 years, the Dark Ages, I definitely want to see what's going to happen there. I kind of get a hint of it because I think Octavia near the end said that the farmers weren't the ones that were feeding the people, it was the warriors. The one thing I can think about is maybe because food was scarce, they started, either once people were dying or the people who died in the arena, maybe they were starting to cook their bodies and they slowly were becoming cannibals. Which if that's the case, kind of 180 goes back to almost like the Reapers, because the Reapers were eating the people as well. So kind of interesting to see what's going to happen there. But definitely excited to see kind of how that whole Dark Ages plays and how that kind of ties into also this whole war that's about to happen. I know there's only a couple episodes left in the season. I'm actually kind of shocked in a way that no main characters have died yet. I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see anything about Kane or Diyoza or Raven, kind of seeing what was going on with those group of people. Hopefully next episode they shed some light on that. Definitely feel that somehow, some way, Maddie is going to either channel in Lexa and convince, Clark to go back. Oops, sorry. Saying Lexa actually triggered my Alexa machine that I have right here. But anyway, continuing with it, I can definitely see how Maddie might channel her and convince Clark to go back to save the rest of the people. If that happens, that's going to be a very neat little twist to see what happens there, because I can almost picture the war happening. You're gonna see Clark and Maddie kind of driving in, almost like on the white horse, but then seeing what one crew ends up doing, how they're gonna split up, or how that whole thing's gonna happen. But overall, guys, once again, amazing episode. 100 is still killing it. I think with this one, I still like last week's episode probably right now so far. It was probably one of my top ones this season. This one's probably going to be a close second, just because I love seeing all the turmoil and like one-on-one turmoil and inner turmoil that was in throughout this whole episode. But other than that, if you like what you see, please, hit that like button, subscribe. Definitely let me know your comments. Obviously, Clark is still on my crap list. She hasn't improved one bit. Not a fan of Abby either. Her being such a junkie. I think she's just, ever since she shocked Raven, that for me is not it. I'm kind of glad that Octavia's showing her more human side, I guess is the nicest way I can put it, instead of always being this blood Reina and this Red Queen and all this stuff. So I thought that was really cool. Indra is killing it for me. I think that's probably one of the characters who I feel has grown the most throughout this whole season. We've gotten to see such a different side of her. But either way, that's all I got for today. So this is Jorge once again with Oh So Fast Reviews, and I'll see you next week.